Emily loved visiting her grandma. The old house was full of surprises. Her favorite place was the attic. Grandma kept it locked, but today Grandma gave Emily the key. The attic was dark and dusty. Cobwebs hung from the rafters. Emily coughed as she flipped the light switch. A single bulb flickered on. She saw trunks piled high, furniture draped in sheets, and boxes filled with forgotten things. Emily spent hours digging through the attic. She found old clothes, books with yellow pages, and a gramophone that looked ancient. Then she saw it. A porcelain doll sat on a shelf, its painted eyes seeming to follow her. The doll wore a velvet dress, faded with age. Its porcelain skin was cracked in places. But it was the doll's eyes that captivated Emily. They were a deep blue, almost black, and seemed to hold a strange, knowing glint. Emily carefully picked up the doll and held it close. It felt strangely cold. That night, Emily slept in the guest room next to the attic. She placed the doll on the bedside table. The moonlight cast long shadows across the room. Emily felt uneasy but couldn't explain why. Then she heard it, a faint whisper, barely audible. "Emily!" The voice seemed to come from the doll. Emily sat up in bed, her heart pounding. She stared at the doll. Its eyes seemed to gleam in the darkness. "Did you say something?" Emily whispered, her voice trembling. The doll didn't answer. Silence filled the room. Emily told herself it was just her imagination. She lay back down, pulling the covers up to her chin, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't alone. Just as Emily was about to drift off to sleep, she heard the whisper again. This time it was clearer, closer. "Emily, let's play." The doll's voice sent chills down her spine. Emily's eyes widened in terror. The doll's head was turned towards her, its painted lips curved into a sinister smile. Emily jumped out of bed and backed away from the doll. Her heart raced. "What do you want?" she stammered, her voice barely a whisper. The doll's smile widened. "Let's play hide and seek, Emily." Emily felt a cold shiver run down her spine. She wanted to scream, to run away, but something held her captive. It was like an invisible force was drawing her into the doll's game. 1, 2, 3. The doll's voice echoed in the room. Emily felt a surge of panic. She had to get out of there. As the doll counted, Emily made a dash for the door, but it was locked. She rattled the handle, but it wouldn't budge. 7, 8, 9. The doll's voice grew louder, more insistent. Emily was trapped. She spun around to face the doll, her eyes wide with fear. "I don't want to play," she whispered, her voice trembling. The doll laughed, a high-pitched, chilling sound. "You have no choice, Emily," it hissed. The doll's eyes seemed to burn into Emily's, and then it began to tell a story. "This was my old owner," the doll said. "My great-aunt Millie." Emily gasped. She'd seen that picture in the attic. "What happened to her?" Emily asked, her voice trembling. The doll's smile turned cruel. "She didn't want to play with me anymore," it hissed. "So I made her." The room seemed to grow colder. Emily felt a wave of dread wash over her. "Now it's your turn, Emily. Time to play. Ready or not, here I come." The doll's laughter echoed through the room as Emily screamed. The sound of her own terror was lost in the darkness, swallowed by the old house and the secrets it held. Emily was trapped, forever bound to play the doll's twisted game.